Have you ever wondered how giant corporations optimize their massive supply chains? Or how banks calculate exact risk without breaking a sweat? Well, the secret sauce is decision support systems. More specifically, it's the mathematical models powering those systems. In this explainer, we're popping the hood. We're going to completely unpack the exact architecture of these models. So, let's get into it. Here's our roadmap for today. We're looking at the digital twin concept and then the 4 pillars: decision variables, parameters, constraints, and finally, the objective function.
Section 1. The digital twin concept, transforming inputs to outputs.
To really get how these models work, you have to think of them as a digital twin. It's basically a perfectly scaled virtual replica of your actual business environment. Why do we do this? Well, it lets us test out different strategies virtually before we go out and risk real capital or resources. It takes our inputs, the things we know for absolute sure, and runs them through strict logical relationships to generate an output. Basically, the system says, hey, based on the math, here's exactly what you should do.
Moving on to Section 2, decision variables, the choices.
When you sit down to build one of these models, the very first question you've got to ask yourself is simply, what are the choices I actually have the power to make? Like, if you're the manager, what levers can you physically pull today that are going to change your business tomorrow?
These right here are your decision variables. Mathematically, you'll see these written out as x1, x2, and so on. They're the dials you actually get to turn. If you're a tech executive, maybe your variable is exactly how many iPhones to build this quarter. Or in logistics, it's picking a specific delivery route. The key takeaway, you have total 100% control over these values.
Which brings us to Section 3, parameters, the uncontrollables. Because, let's be real, we don't operate in a vacuum. So we have to ask, what are the hard facts? What's the unyielding reality of the environment we're operating in right this second? We call these parameters. Think of them as the uncontrollables, the environmental factors, or the givens. They absolutely dictate the outcome, but you can't just change them by wishing them away. We're talking about things like customer demand, tax rates, or the cost of raw materials. So going back to our smartphone example, a parameter might be a fixed profit of exactly $500 per phone. You don't control that $500 margin directly in your equation. It's just a fact of the market you have to work with. These parameters are absolutely crucial because they provide the context for your math.
So you can see there's a really strict dichotomy happening here. On one hand, you have your strategic choices, production volume, pricing, routes. On the other, the undeniable givens, weather conditions, material costs, taxes. A successful model relies entirely on you recognizing the boundary between what you can actually change and what you simply have to accept.
All right, Section 4, constraints, rules of the game. Look, you can't just tell a computer to produce infinite products so you can make infinite money. The system needs a reality check. You've got to ask, what are my limits? What's holding me back right now? These limitations are your constraints. They are the absolute rules of the game, and they're usually written out mathematically as inequalities. Any solution the model spits out is only valid if it satisfies every single one of these physical limits. Maybe you only have 40 hours of labor available this week, right? Or maybe you have a strict warehouse capacity or legal safety minimums you have to hit. You literally cannot break these rules. And finally, Section 5, objective function, the goal. Because at the end of the day, all of this complex math is completely useless unless we know exactly what we are aiming for. We have to clearly define what success looks like. This is your objective function. It's the mathematical expression that defines your ultimate goal. Now, in business, you're almost always trying to do one of two things. You either want to maximize something good, like profit or market share, or you want to minimize something bad, like cost, waste, or time. The formula is usually a z-value that equals a function of your decision variables. So, tying it all together with our phones, if your parameter is a $500 profit per phone and x is the number of phones you decide to build, your objective function is incredibly simple. Maximize z equals 500 times x.
Let's bring it all together in Section 6, visualizing the complete model.
When we take a step back, we can see how this entire ecosystem locks together in one glance. You see how the abstract academic concepts map directly onto practical questions. The core question drives the component, and that component drives the math. Just look at the clear, logical flow here. First, what do I decide? That's our variable, the number of iPhones to build. Second, what are the facts? Those are parameters, like our $500 profit. Third, what are my limits? Those are the constraints, like a 40-hour labor cap. And fourth, what is the goal? That's our objective function, to maximize profit. The computer basically takes the structure, calculates every possible valid iteration, and delivers the exact mathematical peak of profitability. I mean, that is the magic of decision support models. I'm going to leave you with this final, absolutely crucial takeaway. Your mathematical model, your digital twin, only works if you respect the strict rules of the game while relentlessly pursuing your specific target. So the next time you face a massive, complex business problem, ask yourself, have you truly identified the variables you can actually change? Or are you just wasting energy fighting against parameters you can't? Think about that for a second. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.